I went on like a video game buying spree on the Nintendo Switch store. I haven't played them all yet, but I bought Sonic Shadow Generations because I really like Sonic Generations, and the fact that it's available for Switch is exciting.
So is it that game? Is
Yeah.
it like a remake of that game?
It's like Bowser's Fury with 3D worlds. So it's like you can either play Sonic Generations or you can play this kind of like smaller version of the same sort of game but as Shadow with his own campaign. But actually it's a little bit more. So have you played Sonic Generations before?
No.
It came out in like 2010 and it was celebrating, X number of years, 20, yeah, because he came out in like 90, right? 20 years of Sonic, and you could play either. So they had like classic levels from the entire franchise. So of course the first one was Green Hill Zone. So imagine Green Hill Zone as a boost mechanic 3D level. That's Act 1 or that's Act 2, and Act 1 is like a 2D version where it's the classic, and you play as classic Sonic, and he's got the little hop sound, like whoop, that little sound effect, and plays a little bit more like 2D.
He's chubby.
He's a little bit chubby, yeah, which I always thought was kind of strange because it's not like he's all that chubby in the originals. He looks kind of sleek in the originals. They kind of like a little bit of retconning when it comes to classic Sonic's look, I think. But also he was kind of cuter in Japan, like in the Japan's marketing, than he was in the States, where he was a little bit more edgy. But anyway, you move on to Chemical Plant Zone, you move on to whatever, you basically went through all of his mainline games, including Sonic 06. There's like a cool like lava level from Sonic 06. It's actually really fun. Or they do City Escape from Sonic Adventure 2. If you're a Sonic fan, it's the fucking greatest, because it's all of those levels like at their best. They're all, remastered and redone and, expanded and developed further. And it's just really, really fun. And the other thing is it plays great. So it is the boost mechanic, right? Where you hold a button to go extra fast, and the more rings you get, the more you can boost. Mm-hmm. At least the 3D versions are like that. The 2D is not. The 2D is a little bit more traditional. But there's a little bit more to the game. You also play against some classic bosses, and there's a hub world. So you walk in between each kind of like island that is each of those levels. And the hub world has like other characters from Sonic where you can do side missions and side quests and little challenge levels and stuff. It's just a good time. I had it for Xbox 360. So I definitely knew it would be great to have it on Switch. Before Sonic Generations, the big kind of 3D game that people accepted was Sonic Colors. But I think Generations plays better. It just feels good. It feels like pick up and play. You know what the buttons are. You're like some of the momentum and some of like the way the enemies, like if you knock into an enemy in some of those other games, like it just stops you cold. And then they went on to make Sonic like Freedom Fighters or some shit. What was it?
Oh yeah, Sonic Forces.
Thank you, thank God, man. I was trying to remember Sonic Superstars the other day. I was like, what is that one? I got through that whole game. I had fun playing Sonic Superstars. The level design just isn't that great, is the truth of it. Like it's the Sonic Mania people just have it all over them.
Yeah.
Like just have the Sonic Mania people do everything from now on, all of it, every bit of it. They understand.
Well, they made that yo-yo game, right, or whatever.
Yeah, that cool yo-yo game. Yeah, there's just a je ne sais quoi to Sonic Mania that like expands on the original ideas very faithfully. Yeah, Sonic Forces was very much like Generations, where you played as classic Sonic and modern Sonic, but it made no sense because it wasn't an anniversary game, and that kind of concept only made sense with an anniversary game. But in any event, yeah, they put this little collection together. Of course, Sonic Frontiers has come out since, and so the hub world in Sonic in the Shadow campaign is much more like Frontiers. So it used in the original one, you could kind of like go up some stairs, you could go up above the level. It was like kind of all 2D. Going to the other little challenges. It was just like a cute little hub world, where this is like it's like a fully 3D hub world, much like Sonic Frontiers, where there's little loop-de-loops and you can really kind of run around the place. And there's like when you play as Shadow, he's got that chaos control thing, so he can like freeze time if you collect enough, whatever. It's like another power-up option. And also in the 2D levels, because Shadow never had 2D levels, those play a lot more kind of like an isometric 2D a little bit, but from the side, not from the top. It plays more like a 3D level, but with like a 2D inspiration to it. And it has the boost mechanic, so you can boost in the 2Ds, which you can't do as Sonic in the other one. They have other like the Shadow levels are very like spectacle. Like you'll run across something where like suddenly you get wings and you can like fly for a little while. And if you run out of rings, you won't have the wings anymore. I remember there is a 3DS version of Sonic Generations, and it plays a bit like the 2D levels for Shadow in this. So it's kind of, everything's kind of coming together. And it was only like, I think it was $50, I think. So it wasn't quite 60. It seems like they're, like when it comes to, I remember Sonic Forces was 40 when that came out. So it's not quite, Sega at least knows, like, let's not try to charge people $60 for this.
It was well reviewed. It was like one of the most well reviewed like Sonic games in a long time.
Oh, people like it?
Yeah, people like it.
Yeah, it's
people
fun.
Say it's a fun thing.
It's fun. Yeah, I never really got into Frontiers. It was too fucking batshit for me.
Yeah.
I didn't really, you know what? Like, you give me too many options in a game, forget it. I'm here to be directed, you know?
Yes.
I bought other stuff. I bought TMNT Mutant Mayhem, some kind of game there that I haven't tried yet. Well, I saw Sega Lord X's thing about you can run Doom 64 on a Dreamcast, and everybody was like, just get Doom 64 for your Switch. And I was like, oh, why don't I have Doom 64 for my Switch?
Oh, yeah. It's only a couple bucks or whatever.
Yeah, it was like $5. So I snatched that up, and there was like a sale on like Nickelodeon kart racers that I played for like 5 minutes. It wasn't really that great. But then and this is where you come in, Mike Matai.
Mike Matai.
He was streaming an NES ROM hack called the Storied Sword, and it looked pretty good. It looked kind of a little Batman, a little Ninja Gaiden. It looked kind of good.
Castlevania. It's one of those kind of things.
Yeah. I thought I could just go find a ROM of it like anything else, but no. But then I was relieved to find that the creators, like if you pay them the $12 or whatever they're asking for it, they'll give you a ROM, and that ROM will actually... there's been a few times where I've been looking for, like, there was a Jay and Silent Bob game that came with an NES ROM, and I was just looking for the ROM. Like, I'll pay for it. I just wanted the NES ROM to put on my EverDrive, and it was like, no, you got to run it through our, like, proprietary emulator or something. It was some kind of DRM situation where I was like, if I can't get this on the EverDrive, I'm not interested. But these guys just give it to you. They'll give you the .NES files. So I paid the man his money.
Pay that man his money.
And then I distributed it to my friends.
Yes. I got it legitimately in the mail.
I've been playing it on my Ambernick and my EverDrive a little bit. And I'm like halfway through. We were talking at first, we were like, it's easy, you know, and it's great for dads because it's easy. But I got like halfway through and like it gets hard. It gets really hard.
Oh, come on!
Yeah, it even comes up with like a little message like, from now on, it's going to be harder.
Things get a lot more difficult from here on out. If things get too frustrating, feel free to slam your dick and balls in your kitchen drawer.
You can switch to an easier mode. It is very much... did it start off as like a Princess Bride fan game?
I don't know. I know that when you do your character selection, it sure looks like the Dread Pirate Roberts. But there's nothing in the story that suggests this has anything to do with Princess Bride.
Just because, like, the first boss looks like Andre the Giant.
Maybe it was, and they couldn't sell something called that.
Another boss looks like Mandy Patinkin, and yeah,
well, there you go.
It seems like it started off as a Princess Bride fan game. But yes, the story is not. It's like anything. It's like if you started to make a Super Mario fan game, and then Nintendo started going after you, so you switched some things around.
Yeah, exactly. This is a Doki Doki Panic game. Retreat back to the thing they ripped off. Yeah, it was fun, for sure. It's one of those games where it took, like, I didn't read the manual, or because it came with a PDF manual, the digital download, and I didn't really fuck around enough it took me like 2 or 3 levels to realize I had a projectile the whole time.
Yeah. Well, it's like Castlevania where you press like up and B or whatever, and you throw a knife, and even one of the weapons is pretty much like the Ninja Gaiden, like fireball thingy.
Yeah.
And you can do wall jumps, which is pretty fun. You just like hold A for a wall jump.
Yeah, they're easy wall jumps too. They're like you'll slide down the wall.
And it even like has little hint signs. It's like you don't have to like press any directions, because in other games you have to like press like forward then back to go to the other wall. But no, it's just like you just press A and you. There's
another. I don't know if you've played it. There's a ROM hack for NES or a homebrew, whatever you want to call it, an original game called Micro Mages.
Oh yeah, yep.
And that it's like they're really teeny. Like it looks like it's a lot of processing power for the NES. It's pretty impressive. And it's like a vertical climb, and there's a lot of wall jumping, and it's like really sophisticated, nice physics wall jumping. It's like the whole game's wall jumping, basically. But indeed, yeah, it's like one of those things where you can slide and kind of time your jump that way, as opposed to like in Ninja Gaiden, you like hook to the wall and you're kind of stuck from that launch point. Batman's a bit like that too, but I think the Batman wall jumping feels better to me than Ninja Gaiden's.
And then this one, yeah, I don't think like the pixel art is like totally. I don't think it totally nails it, but it's good enough. But it is fun to play these NES games with the quality of life things. Like you don't really run out of lives. Like I don't know, I died like 1,000,000 times to one of the bosses, and it just keeps restarting you, and you just try again. It's nice. It's nice.
A game you can actually play.
Yeah.
For years, I've seen on YouTube, Zoomers playing Mario 64 ROM hacks, and I never got into them. I didn't have an EverDrive. That's part of it. And I never really fucked around too much with like Project 64 or like N64 emulation. I'm just not likely to sit at a PC and play N64. It's just not going to happen. But I always was kind of jealous. I was always like, I would definitely love to play some like creative Mario 64. So I started Googling for like, what are the best ones? And there's everybody, there's like just so many of them. There's one that I really have been trying to play. It's called Super Mario Land 64. And it's in the style of 3D World, apparently, like where it's like more linear levels. Wow. I was like, that sounds really fun. But there's one I got working. It was called Peach's Fury. And it's very much like Bowser's Fury, where it's kind of one big level with 25 stars, and you just go and find 25 stars within this, and as you cross into different sections, it'll change the music, and it generally uses the music from Bowser's Fury, like the do 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 do.
That's a great soundtrack.
If you need something to do for like 20 minutes before you go to sleep, like sitting there with your N64 controller, getting some stars and then going to bed. It's a good way to unwind for sure. There was another one called Star Road. That's considered one of the beefiest. It's like 130 stars. It's like a whole fucking game.
Yeah. Does it more work on emulator than EverDrive?
I bet it does. When I Google it, they're like, maybe because you need the expansion pack. I'm like, I got an expansion. You don't think I got a fucking expansion pack? You don't think that I don't have my childhood expansion pack in that N64?
I got it with Donkey Kong 64. Who do you think I am?
How you think I play Majora's Mask, huh? And look, if I find any good ones, I'll let you know, because I've heard that your son thinks that Mario 64 is good in his bones. So
oh yeah, definitely.
More of that.
He's been back playing Tears of the Kingdom. He really likes Tears.
He likes that, huh?
Yeah, I don't know. There's something about it, like the physics and he likes the atmosphere with the sky islands, and he likes the underground too. Like, even though I thought it was bland, he's like, I like it because it's dark and you can like throw bright blooms which light things up. I don't know. Kids have their own reasons for things. So,
like I said, they always kind of they buy into the imagination of the thing so much more. I tell you, the game that Gloria just loves to play, or at least watch me play. Again, a little embarrassing, but Stick of Truth and Fractured Butthole. She can't get enough of this. This is because and you realize after a while, you're like, even with all the profanity, South Park just really understands children's play. Like they understand like kids dressing up as superheroes with pots and pans on their heads, and there's a really cute moment like in the opening, when Cartman's doing like his like gritty superhero cutscene. And he's like, I realize now I need to go back to the past. And he like walks up to his sliding door closet, and there's like a calculator taped to the wall, and he punches into it like he's going back in time. Then he goes into the closet and shuts the door. Especially in Fractured Butthole, where you can play as a girl. I don't know if you remember, but in Stick of Truth, you had to be a boy. But then you're the same character in the second game. But you can go to Mr. Mackey, the counselor, and you can say like, I'm actually a girl. And then you have an option for what your gender is. And then he has to call your parents and be like, we thought this was a boy the whole time. Okay.
You're a girl? Okay. Your child has just let me know that, she's actually a girl? Oh, you knew that?
But that she can be like her own superhero girl. and she can like come across, like she can meet Butters on the street, and she lives in South Park. She lives down the street from him, and she loves that shit.
Yeah. I only played Stick of Truth, and I remember feeling like it was very fun just to inhabit that world of South Park and, you know, walk around, go to the Chinese place and like fight Mongolians and stuff.
There's DLC for Fractured Butthole too. There's a Casa Bonita one, actually.
Oh.
Yeah.
This is the best restaurant in the world! Can we go back soon?
Sure, kiddo. Man, those cliff divers were something, huh?
And she loves Mysterion because she loves Kenny. She loves Kenny. By far her favorite character. First of all, she feels bad for him because he gets made fun of for being poor. So she really wants to like care for him and be compassionate. But there's that one episode, I don't know if you saw it. It's semi-recent in as much as it came out like 10 years ago or something. It's called The Poor Kid. Kenny's parents get arrested for getting drunk on Pabst Blue Ribbon. And Kenny and his little sister have to go to a foster home with a strict agnostic family, and they keep yelling like we can't know, we don't know, we only drink Dr. Pepper here because no one knows what flavor it is. And so Kenny's little sister is sad and scared to be in a new place, and Kenny keeps dressing up as Mysterion and acting like her guardian angel, and like Gloria just loves that stuff. So Mysterion's in this Casa Bonita one too, so she gets to interact with her favorite character. As it so happens, if you show up to South Park 27 years late, you actually get to enjoy like a lot more Kenny lore than there was in the early days when he was just a mumbling guy who died.
Yeah. Well, it's funny, the Casa Bonita, like somebody in our Discord was like, I thought that was a fake like South Park place. And that's funny. I thought it was too until basically recently when they're like, Casa Bonita is closing down.
She loves Princess Kenny too, because when they play medieval characters, Kenny dresses up as a princess, so she loves Princess Kenny. There's an anime song that's like, you know, Kenny-chan kawaii princess you. How cute Princess Kenny is. She's into Kenny. I have a Kenny, like one of those like larger stuffies from the 90s, and she loves them.